Tonight, the family of the man who died in Greensboro Police Custody will be speaking days after the autopsy was released. On Friday, Greensboro Police released body cam video of the night that Marcus Smith died. It was made public the same day the autopsy was released. The autopsy said there were several factors in his death, including cardiac arrest due to restraint, drugs, and an underlying heart problem. Tonight, the Smith family has a list of demands they want police and the city council to address. WFMY News 2's Jessica Winters is live outside of Shiloh Baptist Church, where the family plans to meet. Jess.
The demands include, but are not limited to, an apology from GPD and punishment for the officers and Chief Wayne Scott, who they say are responsible for the death of Marcus Smith. They believe that the 38-year-old's death is a direct result of being hogtied by the Greensboro Police Department. Here's some body cam video from that night. The recently released autopsy report says Smith died because he was restrained on drugs and had an underlying heart condition. The medical examiner ruled his death a homicide, but that doesn't determine criminal involvement. GPD Chief Wayne Scott says his officers did everything right when restraining Smith with what's called a rip hobble.
The rip hobble device is designed to secure the feet and legs of an individual to keep them from kicking, to keep them from harming themselves or anyone who's around them.
The Smith family and their supporters plan to go in front of City Council tomorrow with that list of their demands. I also spoke with the District Attorney's office today, and they said that they'll be meeting with the State Bureau of Investigation this week for more on that report.
Jessica, thank you. You can read more about the investigation, including the autopsy results, and you can watch the body cam videos for yourself on our website, WFMYnews2.com.